it's Phil. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Christian Taylor.
Hello.
Who's pretty in periwinkle, I'm going to say.
Aw, thank you.
And Sky Jitani.
Hi.
Who's grammatical in gray.
How about gorgeous and gray?
I like that better.
Say that.
Grumpy and gray.
I don't think you're
not
I'm not grumpy.
No, are you grumpy?
No.
Honestly?
Seriously.
Little
You were
grumpy?
just imitating Billy Crystal quite nicely, I might add. You're not grumpy.
Oh, you want to sing the theme song as Billy Crystal?
I really don't.
You look marvelous.
That's not. It's Billy Crystal doing Fernando. what's it?
Fernando Ortega.
You look marvelous.
That's very good.
Yeah, okay.
You know, darling.
Hey, it's a podcast. What do you know? Hey, it's a podcast. And we got video. Hey, it's a podcast. So lend an ear. The Phil Vischer podcast starts right here. We'll talk to Sky
Hello, darling.
and Christian, too.
Hello, darling.
Who just discovered that ukulele chords aren't the same as guitar chords.
I did.
We've got no guest, but my dog Buddy's here for you.
Woohoo!
Woo! He's lying down right there behind the desk. Hey, it's a podcast. So lend an ear. The Phil Vischer podcast starts right here. The Phil Vischer podcast starts right here. I don't know if you noticed, my ukulele is freshly tuned. So it
Sounds awesome.
Plinky Pete is sounding sprightly.
Is there a little
Everything is
Hawaiian
awesome.
person who comes in and tunes that for you?
A little Hawaiian person?
I picture the Hawaiian punch guy.
Yeah, the
He's
Hawaiian,
not little.
Oh yeah,
thought he was
not the
pitcher.
Not the pitcher. The little.
Oh, that's Kool-Aid,
That's
right?
Kool-Aid Man.
Sorry.
Yeah, Kool-Aid Man and the Hawaiian punch, and he used to punch people, didn't
Yeah.
he? He used to give people a punch.
Which is what children do when they drink too much of that.
Didn't he
'cause-
talk like that? Hey, you want a punch?
Yes.
That's not very Hawaiian.
I've forgotten that. I did think that it was, I have a lot of things going on today.
Yeah. I hear that you've picked up a new imaginary ailment.
It is not an imaginary ailment. It's a real thing.
Tell us.
You have a computer. You can Google it. I was diagnosed with floppy eye syndrome.
Uh-huh.
It's true, really.
That's something dogs get, right?
No. Apparently, it's
think
what
Goofy has
48-year-old actresses get.
What are floppy eyes? Is this a cosmetic condition?
This is not. This is a real medical condition. I was sitting in my doctor's office, and I went there just to have my yearly eye exam.
And suddenly your eyeball flopped out on the floor, and he said, "Great Scott!"
You can go on Letterman with that.
I probably could. And she said to me, "Are there any problems or issues?" And I said, "Well, quite frankly, tears just keep falling out of my eyes, and I don't understand what's
When
happening."
bad things happen in my life.
No, when nothing bad is going on.
There's a different doctor for that, you know.
No, it has nothing to do with my emotions. It's just water just pours out like fountains.
Like you'll see a Hallmark TV commercial.
No.
Wouldn't that be like runny eye syndrome or teared?
Why is it floppy?
Yeah,
or is it flop sweat?
Right.
Flop sweat eye.
I would agree with you, and she would agree with you. She said to me, well, let me ask you, do you snore? And I said, what? What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, that's personal,
and
doctor.
I said, well, my husband says I do. And she said, well, that's because, and people think it's odd that we would know that, but your skin is extremely elastic. You have a lot of extra collagen in your skin, so your skin gets very floppy. And so, which actually also keeps it from wrinkling, which is why I look so young.
You did look young.
Right. But when the skin in your throat begins to hang down a little
Yeah.
bit, you snore. And
Yeah.
when the skin around your eyes
Yeah.
isn't sucked up to your eyeballs as it should be, tears just randomly fall out. And if you'll notice, which I hate telling you this, but it's true, because now you're going to look at me askance.
Yeah.
If you look at my eyes,
Yeah.
one is lower than the other. One eyelid, they're off now. And so if I don't get them, if I don't get eye surgery,
Oh, see, this is where I was coming. I was like, this is...
no, if I don't get it, then they'll droop down and it'll cut off my vision. So there will probably be like 2 or 3 weeks where it'll look like somebody punched me in the eye. Just warning you.
Wow.
That's
We've learned
welcome to
so
floppy
much.
eye syndrome.
And floppy eye syndrome, is it related to floppy neck snoring syndrome?
Yes, it is. And she said it's a terrible name. Most eye conditions have much better names than this one, but I have to tell you it's a terrible name. But it is true.
So she apologized on behalf of
Before she told
the
me it
Eye
was
Condition
floppy eye
Naming
syndrome.
Committee of the United Nations.
Yes, she did. She warned me because people like you would make fun of me when I said.
Well, yeah.
Okay, there was making fun.
Yeah, I
Yes, there
guess.
was.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
It's
okay.
restless leg syndrome. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's true. It's the
right.
same. It's the
I feel
same.
like I get that sometimes.
You have it.
Do you ever get the thing where you're just lying in bed trying to go to sleep and all of a sudden you have the squirms?
Jiggle?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta like squirm. You get squirmy.
I get that.
Squirmy bed syndrome?
Yeah.
You ever get that? Mm-hmm. Okay.
He doesn't get that.
Just checking.
I don't get you.
Buddy
people.
gets it.
Maybe it's because I'm younger.
Yeah, when you're old like us, then these things will start happening to you. It's
true.
But you'll also be wise like us.
We hope.
As you flop around in your bed.
I should be so fortunate.
Okay, Sky is catching up on his movie viewing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
hear you
just-
saw the latest movie out.
Just finally went before it left theaters.
No. I saw it at
Just
home because it's
saw-
free on Amazon Prime.
You saw Noah.
I did.
You actually saw one of last year's big biblical epics.
Yeah, and I was telling these guys earlier that we should do a new regular segment on our podcast of completely out-of-date, irrelevant movie reviews
Right.
that are no longer helpful to
Right.
anybody.
I'm about to review Empire Strikes Back.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's really the best one.
So that people know what they yeah. So
or
I still
we do
haven't
two
seen it.
things though. We review movies that we haven't seen,
Yeah,
and then
that's
we review
big.
movies we have seen way after everyone else has already seen them.
Now, look, I saw Noah right when it came out because you know why? We were going to talk about it on the podcast. So I went right away to make sure that I saw it.
Well,
And you did. You
want
saw it.
You want a quarter? No, I never saw it.
you've still not seen it.
No, I've still
I
not
was-
seen
oh,
Noah.
So are we gonna have to talk about it a third time when
No,
you see it?
because I don't care about it. But
Well, I didn't care either.
care about what you thought about it. So tell me,
I care too.
Sky, what did you think about Noah?
I'm kind of indifferent.
And that's how I feel, which is why I
Yeah,
haven't seen it.
it wasn't as bad as some people made it out to be.
Okay.
And it wasn't nearly as good as other people I heard made it out to be. They took a lot of liberties,
They did.
but I wasn't really that bothered by.
Was it well made? Was it a good piece of film craft?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, some of the special effects were cool.
Oh, you can buy special
I know,
effects.
but
You
I
just buy 'em.
I didn't find it that they introduced an extra level of tension to the narrative by
By adding Emma Watson. No.
by adding Emma Watson, and then the component they added was that Noah was convinced that God wanted to get
Right.
rid of all humans.
And he had to kill them.
Well, he wanted his family just to be the last and then die off and
Yeah.
be done. But when he finds
Yeah.
out his daughter-in-law is pregnant,
Yeah.
he says, "Hey, if you have any girls, I'm going to kill them as soon as they're born."
Yeah.
Right.
And
Well,
that's kind of creepy.
That's in the Bible.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Not.
So, but that was just because once the flood comes, the tension's kind of over,
Right.
Because then everyone's
We're
dead.
bobbing. We're bobbing.
So they
We're
needed to
bobbing.
introduce this.
Actually, there was other tension too because there
Because
was
the guy snuck on the boat,
yeah,
right?
there was the guy that
Yeah,
snuck on
guy
the boat.
snuck on the
then-
boat.
That was kind of weird.
And then he tried to convince one of the sons, Ham.
Yeah. And then there was the two kangaroos that had a same-sex marriage,
Oh, stop
right?
it.
Just to be politically
well,
relevant.
they were from down under, and everything's backwards. there.
backwards. Yeah.
The part that they tried to make this whole tension around the fact that one of Noah's sons had a wife, Emma
Yeah.
Watson, but was a barren. They thought.
Could she do magic?
Well, there was a little weird magic going on.
Was there?
Yeah.
And Emma Watson, was she behind it?
No, it was
It was with
Methuselah.
the yeah.
She's great with spells.
Yeah, but then the other two sons didn't have any wives, and so and there was this tension early in the movie about well,
So
what
they all
about
borrowed Emma.
we want women, we want wives.
can
Why
we
can't we
share?
have wives? But when you actually read the biblical account, it says
Yeah.
that Noah and his sons and their wives
Yeah.
all entered the ark.
So
So
they
they
made
all
that up
had
too.
companions.
Well, that's the problem. You have a story that you know is epic and known enough that it could open a film, but then you actually dig into it and it's not the kind
That-
of story
Yeah.
that makes a good film.
Which is just, I thought, short-sighted in whoever wrote Genesis, Moses, perhaps, that he didn't think about the film
He
potential.
wasn't thinking about film
and,
rights.
and didn't introduce
Not
enough
like
tension.
J.K. Rowling. Imagine if
Exactly.
J.K. Rowling had written the Bible, how popular it would be. There would be a whole biblical theme park in Orlando. Oh,
It
wait.
might actually work.
Oh, wait, there is. Yeah, it would be better than that.
So anyway, I don't.
So you're not recommending it. You
well,
don't give it.
I mean, it was fine.
Did you see the
For free, it was great.
Did you see the Moses one?
Yes, I did. Exodus.
Exodus,
Yes.
right? Which was better, Noah or Exodus?
As a film, or
Yeah.
in
Well,
its
how many
faithfulness to
different
Scripture?
criteria do you think we need?
I think that the Exodus movie was far less faithful to the source material
Than Noah?
than Noah.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Were there rock monsters in Exodus?
No.
Okay.
I actually kind of like the rock.
I like the rock
monsters.
monsters too.
I think we need one of those in the back of the
I
set
agree.
here.
We did it in the Pirates.
And they were
Don't
not
Do
rock
Anything
monsters;
first.
they were rock angels, which I
Yeah,
think would be a
whatever.
great band name.
Oh, that would be a good band
Or
name.
Instead
Angels.
of Earth Angel,
Yeah, Rock Angels. Let's
Come
start
on.
it.
But
Or a
Angels
biker
are
With
rock.
ukuleles.
A biker band.
I think Victoria's Secret did Angels of Rock.
Did they?
Well, we wouldn't know.
No, I don't know either. Buddy told me because he stays up watching TV late at night. Okay, so on the craft, on the accuracy to the text, you give it to Noah.
Yeah, which again took plenty of liberties, but not nearly as egregious as the Exodus story
okay.
one.
On the craft of film making.
I would probably give that to Exodus.
Okay. Okay. On the kept me on the edge of my seat from the beginning until the end.
Well, neither.
Jonah,
but
a VeggieTales movie?
I would probably say Exodus only because
You didn't know the end?
No, I knew the end. It's because I didn't know what crazy new depiction of God or the story they were going to pull on me next.
Okay.
So as somebody who knows the story very well, I was
Right.
interested to see what kind of perversions are they going to pull on me here.
Right. So it's more like having a guest over to your house for dinner who randomly slaps you and being glued to the conversation because
Well,
you don't know what you're going to get
A little
hit
bit.
with
It's like
next.
having that crazy uncle over
Yeah.
who, on one level, you're highly entertained by.
Yeah.
But on another level, disturbed because I'm actually in the same gene pool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that kind of tension.
Feel like you're in the same gene pool with either Darren Aronofsky.
No, but
or
this is a story that I care
this
about
is a
because
story from your gene pool.
because it's
This
from
is-
the scriptures
story
that I
is a
affirm.
relative.
Yeah, but what they've done to it is so messed up and weird
Yeah.
that you just can't quite look away.
Do you think they're going to take a break from big biblical?
I
No,
know
there's a new one coming.
What?
There is.
Yes.
What
There's a new
what
one
is it?
coming with the same people that did. I forget.
You're thinking about the Bible?
The same people that did the Bible.
Yeah,
They're
there's-
doing another one.
It's AD. It's a
Right.
TV thing,
That's
though.
on
Oh, and it's
TV.
out now.
Yeah.
And it's out now.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about movies.
Yeah,
Have
we
you
were
watched
talking
AD?
about
I haven't
I watched
heard.
the first one. I thought, yeah, that's biblical. That's about as excited as I
Yeah.
got.
So it wasn't good.
No, it's well done. It's well done. I don't know. It's kind of what I thought about the Bible series too. It's like, oh, okay.
What does Bill the editor,
Okay.
think? Bill likes it.
Bill likes
So-
it, but he's watched more than I have.
How much have you watched?
He's watched all.
Why
but-
do you like it?
We're not interviewing Bill. This isn't. He doesn't have a mic. We
Yeah, he
can't
doesn't
interview
even he
people
doesn't
without a
even want
mic.
to be interviewed.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a drop off in the number of biblical epic movies.
Yeah.
you think they haven't
yeah.
done well as people anticipated them to
Well,
do?
I think what they've tried to
haven't
do.
done well.
We've talked about this on the podcast before, but they want to tap into the faith market, but they're not faithful enough to the scriptures that they get excited about it, and
Right.
then they don't make them interesting enough for non-Christian or non-biblically literate people to engage.
so
the movies.
it's mediocre. Falls in the
right.
middle.
It's
neither here nor there. It's
Missing
warm. I spit
any
it out
target
of my mouth. I spit it out
audience.
of my mouth.
there you go.
Tooey. Okay, now vegetables could retell Bible stories.
They could.
Think how great that would be.
That would be so incredibly exciting.
I did 3 hours of VeggieTales recording this morning.
That's a lot of hours. Were you singing
Did-
or just?
Yeah, I had one song, a whole bunch of ADR, if you know what ADR is.
Yes, that's challenging
yeah,
stuff.
you got to go redo lines that have been changed since you recorded them, and they've animated the mouths.
So you have to do it to the
match
mouths?
the other version, and you have to match. Or just like, okay, I did this morning, I had to do Archibald Asparagus. He's riding a bicycle up a steep hill, and he gets to the top, and he jumps off the top, and he's having fun. Go.
What does that sound like?
Like
You just
that.
make it up on the spot.
Yeah, you make it up on the spot.
Well, did you have any preparation for any of
No,
this
you
at
don't,
all?
no, you don't have any preparation.
Oh.
You walk in cold. You never heard the songs. You've never read the scripts, and you just go. You just go.
Do you get more than one
feel it.
take?
You say, "Holy Spirit, help me," and then the Holy Spirit fills you with characters, and then you go.
And do you get more than one take?
If you want it, yeah.
Okay, but you don't need
We
one.
do a lot in one take. It's kind of funny how much we do in one take. Say, good enough, move on.
Are there outtakes?
Good enough, move on. They have to. Yeah, there would be.
Yeah, but do you get access to them?
No.
Well, they wouldn't be
No.
nearly as good as the outtakes to this podcast, I'm
That's
sure.
true.
Certainly not. Okay, is there news or is there just us talking about our lives? I don't know. Can robots make good Christians? This is a story submitted by Sky Jitani.
What? I didn't get this one. You
I
didn't
did-
send this one
I
to me.
did. Yeah, I did.
You sent it in? Yeah.
I didn't write it. I just found it.
Yeah.
What is it?
As computer science races ahead, at least one forward-looking Florida pastor sees a future for the faith in whatever passes for a soul in robots, androids, cyborgs, and other forms of artificial
Is
intelligence.
this for real?
Yeah, it's for real.
When the Reverend Christopher Bennick, an associate pastor of the First Presbyterian Church of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, it's Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Sounds pretty
It's
mainstream to
I think
me.
it was a spring break thing. He was out on a bender. Talks about artificial intelligence, or AI. He writes in a recent online essay. How many pastors are writing online essays about
lot.
artificial intelligence?
Not many.
Yeah. I am not talking about iPhones.
Oh, Buddy's defending us.
Buddy is concerned that people may want to attack the podcast. It's okay, Buddy. We're safe. It's all good.
Come on, Buddy.
We're safe. Come
He
back.
looks a lot like that dog from Up.
Yeah, he does.
The squirrel.
Yeah,
Remember
he does that a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. I'm not talking about iPhone Siri, a Roomba vacuum, or one of those toasters that can make perfectly timed toast with the likeness of Jesus on it.
How clever.
He's funny. I am talking about an autonomous creature that has self-awareness. When something not only can think, reason, plan, learn, communicate, and perceive things, but also, quote, feel love, sadness, compassion, joy, affection, and a multitude of emotions, he writes, then it is not a great leap to think that an artificial intelligence that is very much like us, but exponentially more intelligent, could participate in Christ's redemptive purposes in the world and help make the world a better place.
Okay, first of all, let me just say,
Yeah.
not even in drama
Yeah.
is there artificial intelligence that has feelings or emotions.
Sure,
At
there is.
least-
Did you see Chappie?
What is that?
Is that out now?
Yeah, it was out. It came out a few months ago. It didn't do well. Did you see iRobot?
Yeah, but that doesn't have really.
He's wrestling with morality. Did you see Iron Giant?
I did.
He, not gun, Superman.
Okay, well,
Is he-
perhaps.
There's lots
but
of robots that people have
So
portrayed.
is he saying all droids go to heaven? Is that kind
I
of
don't. I actually think he was misinterpreted because he doesn't seem to suggest that there's salvation for robots. He suggests that robots could play a part in Christ's redemptive purposes.
well, everything
Which would
does.
be,
Seriously.
so does my toaster. I mean, if it's bringing order and beauty and abundance, right?
There you go.
Ding, ding, ding.
Futureville?
If it's bringing order and beauty and abundance, so
He actually read your book.
a copy machine is participating because it brings an abundance of
Well, and the-
images of people's behinds.
Well, speaking of asses, God,
Oh my word!
God spoke through a donkey in the Old Testament.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
of course he could use a robot or whatever he
Yeah.
wants to
Right,
achieve his
right.
purposes.
So
But
I
that's
don't-
different
He
than
could.
saying that they have a soul that can be redeemed
It
by...
doesn't sound like he's saying that.
Well,
I don't
but
honestly
that's-
don't think he's saying that, although I think that's what the journalists pulled out of it. Because number one, because journalists don't understand the concept of kingdom of God. They don't understand that there's anything that we're talking about anything more than just people going to heaven, being vacuumed up and going to heaven if they checked the right box on their census that says they're Christian. That's how most of the world views it. So yeah, I mean your dog could participate in the kingdom of God.
And often has.
Well, I don't know. Buddy's lazy.
But you're distinguishing that between eternal salvation.
Yeah. Not necessarily achieving having a redemptive relationship with Jesus.
Right.
That's different.
That is
Right.
very
But
different.
you could bring about. You can.
I mean, he says that the rocks will praise him.
and robots are like rocks.
They are,
lot of
especially
rock
if they're
monsters.
in
Rock
Noah.
angels.
Rock angels, rock angel, rock angel. Okay. So, what did you have any thoughts when you read this? Were you?
I just
were you
the whole
stunned? Were you
AI thing I
baffled?
find kind of creepy and fascinating because a lot of people are freaking out about this now.
Yeah, Elon Musk is worried about it.
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking
What
is
are we worried about?
it.
Why are we worried
AI.
about that? I know. Why are
Well,
we?
have you not seen Terminator?
Yes.
That if machines
movie.
become
These are
intelligent enough.
movies.
What was the one? Eagle Eye. Did you see Eagle Eye?
No.
No.
The great Shia LaBeouf.
Shia.
Whatever.
It's Shia
Whatever.
LaBeouf. It's Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Isn't he kind of
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah,
Off his rocker?
He is completely off his rocker. He showed up at an event a couple of days ago in a haircut that people described as a mullet in the style of a Davy Crockett coonskin cap.
Oh, gosh.
It was curly and fuzzy on top and had a tail down the back. That's what his hair. It was actually his hair. Is what
At least
I was
he's got
wearing.
some.
His hair. Anyway, he was in a movie Eagle Eye. You should see it. It's actually a good movie. And the premise is that But if I give it away, it'll spoil it. Basically, that the government has built a hyper-intelligent computer system to process all of the data from every camera everywhere around the world to predict, criminal behavior, to predict terrorist behavior, and it gets plugged into enough things that it can actually send out drone strikes. It can, so all this autonomous stuff is starting to happen. And then, of course, whenever you have, the machine, whether it's Terminator or,
Come on now.
What's the one with the Matrix?
I was about to say that. I was sitting here
The
going,
Matrix.
The Matrix, the
There's a
Matrix, the
point where
Matrix. But if I
machines-
say the Matrix, then Phil's going to say, no, it's not the Matrix.
Well, but I would have eliminated one more movie, so that would have been helpful.
All right, next time I'll say what I think.
So when machines become so intelligent that they realize that people are the problem,
Right.
Hey, this world would be great.
But there
if it
is
wasn't for the
no.
people.
Is there any science to base that fear? Is that a logical fear?
It's an
whatsoever?
extrapolation.
It's the singularity issue.
It's an extrapolation.
It's the Borg.
Well, no. What they've shown is since the creation of computers, the capacity of computers to increases exponentially over time. And so if you extrapolate it out, we're approaching the time when computers will match or exceed the capacity of the human brain. And that's where they think they will become an artificial intelligence and be able to do things autonomously.
Yeah, but probably
sense?
not.
Yeah, but I
Did you
just
see
don't
that
buy it.
That Johnny Depp movie?
Which one? I've seen several.
The recent one where
Yeah.
he gets killed and then they suck his intelligence into a computer
No.
so that he can keep going.
Well,
'cause
that
he
one
was working on it's the same.
That one physicist
topic.
has talked about that Mako, the Asian guy with the long hair. It's on shows all the time. He's kind of like the Asian version of Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay. The Asian Neil deGrasse
Yeah,
Tyson.
his name is something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sure. I know exactly who you're talking about.
you would know if I showed you a picture of him. Whatever. Okay. Anyway, he has this belief that we'll be able to download our entire brain into some kind of memory bank and then be immortal.
So does Ray Kurzweil.
Who's that?
Ray Kurzweil started Singularity University, and he's a lead researcher now with Google. He also invented the Kurzweil keyboard, which was the first digital sampling keyboard, if you ever played a Kurzweil. So he had a music company. Very smart.
Sounds like a smart guy.
But he's gotten a little woo-doo out there.
Well, Elon Musk said that he was investing money into artificial intelligence because he wanted to keep a lid on it and make sure it doesn't get all evil.
It's the single biggest threat to the survival
But
of
Elon Musk
humankind.
is about as close as we've got to a Bond villain in the world. Like,
Really?
I could totally see him as being a guy who's got like an underwater submarine base somewhere.
Yeah.
With his own
we have
henchmen.
really gone far afield.
Like, how do we know he's not really controlling everything?
He's Tony Stark.
Why should this matter to me
not the
as a
bad
Christian
guy.
in today's world?
He's not.
I really
Stop
need to
asking
know.
practical questions. He's not Samuel L. Jackson from The Kingsman, the lisping, terrible guy who wants to kill the whole world.
We don't know that.
He's not that.
Who knows? Maybe he's got sinister.
Just because
he's got money and he's brilliant.
He's building rockets and supercars.
Yeah.
What could be evil about that?
He's got his own
Y'all
little
are
private
losing me,
army.
seriously.
His own private army of people that
Why do
control
I-
strings. They're called the Muscovites, something like that.
Are you serious?
What are you talking about?
Well, because all the Bond villains have these armies of guys that work for them.
Muscovites?
Because Elon Musk.
Oh,
He's making it
because
up.
I'm from Muscatine.
Oh my word! Now we're just randomly playing word association. What is this podcast coming to?
I'm
Can
just
we
saying.
please get back on track?
Well, that was our track.
Okay.
Okay. So, are we nervous? Are we nervous about
So you're telling me I should be nervous?
artificial intelligence
theologically-
and/or computers
Yes.
becoming safe?
Theologically, how is this
Well, no,
relevant,
seriously.
Sky?
As computers become more and more intelligent, it will eventually cause us to question what we actually mean by life and what constitutes personhood. I mean, we're already wrestling with those issues when it comes
All I
to
know is-
biological
And corporations.
and
The
corporations.
first
and all that.
robot that comes up to me and says, "I love you," I'm going to say, "No, you don't. You don't know what love is." And if the robot cries, I'll know I was wrong.
It could have floppy eye syndrome.
Okay, it's been a strange month for Tennessee.
Tennessee.
My sister lives in Tennessee.
Does she?
And maybe that's why.
Did she have a strange
And my mother.
month? Get, a couple of stories out of Tennessee this month. Tennessee attempted to make the Bible the state book.
Oh gosh, that
does a
probably
state
did not
need
go
a
well.
book?
Well, they have everything. States have everything. They have state butterflies,
And
they have state
flowers.
birds, they have state flowers.
But what does that do?
So Tennessee wanted
just
to
claim
make the Bible,
Name it, claim it.
their state book. If one state claims something, does that mean all the other states
Don't
have
get
you can't have
Nope.
the carrier pigeon if it's the official bird of
You have to just
Indiana?
tap out. You can't be going for it.
So like, oh nuts, Bible's gone.
So
okay,
2 days
Quran.
ago, maybe it was yesterday, my neighbor comes out in the front yard and said, "Hey, we were out this morning and a bald eagle flew right down our street."
carrying a Bible and the American flag,
And I'm like, what? The only place I have ever seen wild bald
and on
eagles.
its back was Glenn Beck.
The only place I've ever seen a wild bald eagle was in Alaska.
Yeah.
Are
In
there-
Illinois, really?
That's what he claims. In Wheaton?
Maybe he doesn't really know a bald eagle.
Are
when
there-
he
It was
sees
probably a
one.
hawk. There are a lot of hawks
He
around
said it was
here.
a bald
Lot of
eagle.
hawks. Okay. Well, that's neither here nor there.
Well, I'm saying.
How does that fit in with
Because he's talking
the
about state
Bible in
birds.
That
Tennessee?
happened in Tennessee. That's not the bald eagle is not the state bird, Sky.
Well, I'm saying if we have them in Illinois, it should be. 'Cause right now it's the cardinal, and that's no fun.
Really, the cardinal is the Illinois state.
That should really be the Missouri state bird.
Okay.
No, that's their baseball
Legislators
team.
in Tennessee are deeply. I'm trying to be serious
Go ahead.
here, and Buddy is scratching at my leg.
I know,
because he
he
wants
wants
my
to sit in
attention.
your lap.
Legislators are deeply divided over a proposal to make the holy text an official state book, with some saying it's far too sacred to be trivialized, like the state fruit, the tomato. That's funny. The state amphibian, the Tennessee cave salamander, and several state songs, Tennessee Waltz and Rocky Top. Conversely, others believe the Bible's an integral part of the state's history or don't want to appear to be against it. And then there are a host of constitutional questions to consider. Do you feel, when you think about Tennessee, do you think, wow, the Bible played a key role in the history of the state of Tennessee as opposed to other states?
Last time I checked, Tennessee does not factor into the Bible.
No, but the Bible factors into Tennessee.
I'm sure it probably does in some fashion or
Nothing
other.
is springing to mind for me.
No.
That would make a particular association of the Bible to the state of Tennessee.
So if you were to pick a book to be the official book of Tennessee, what
well,
would
if
it
you
be?
were to pick a state to be linked to
the
the
Bible?
Bible forever,
What state would it be?
That's a great question.
you might
Mississippi.
go back to Massachusetts and say that, well, that was founded by the Puritans, and they were probably the most biblically driven, motivated.
Boy, Massachusetts would not like to hear
They
that
don't want
now.
it now. They don't want it now. No, people change. I don't associate the Bible with any particular state. I don't think. Maybe the province of Alberta.
What? Why?
What?
I don't have.
Well, how did
anything.
this go?
So it was about to pass, and in fact, it passed the House in
Yeah, who's going to vote
Tennessee,
against it?
55 to 38. Partly, legislators may have felt compelled to support
Yeah.
the measure or face political repercussions down the road. But then on Thursday, the proposal was derailed when the Senate voted 22 to 9 to send it back to a committee that has already been closed for the year.
Okay, hold on a second. Obviously, I'm not a resident of Tennessee.
No.
But if I were,
Yes.
my question would be, why are we paying you to do this when there are probably more pressing matters that need to be dealt with
And is this
in our
the sort
state?
of thing that we're really doing is this a culture war thing?
Yeah.
Is this in reaction to, there's too many Muslims around. We have to remind them that we're about the Bible. We don't want Sharia law and we don't want gay marriage. We're about the Bible. So let's put it
Because every Christian obviously interprets the Bible the same way.
Exactly
So that's
the
not
same.
a divisive issue at all.
Senate Speaker Ron Ramsey said, we don't need to put, I'm going to try to do the Tennessee.
Good luck.
We don't need to put the Bible beside salamanders, tulip, poplars, and rocky top in the Tennessee Blue Book to appreciate its importance to our state.
Well done.
I think that was
And I agree with him.
spoken. The governor was also against it, and the House Speaker Beth Harwell, both Republicans. These are all Republicans that I'm quoting, by the way. I think it is unconstitutional, and I really think it demeans the holy word of God by making it just a book with historical significance. So, but no, everyone was afraid to vote against it. You didn't
Right.
actually want to have your name associated. So it passed, but then they found a way to send it back to committee and
So
kill it.
who's responsible for this? Somebody had to raise it up.
Who's responsible for this? A Tennessee legislator.
He doesn't know.
Okay, but we're still in Tennessee, all right? Still in.
All right, there's another story.
Atheist mom gets threats after school cancels Bible man visits.
I know who Bible Man
Now,
is.
you think you know
I know
who
who Bible Man is.
This is a different Bible man.
Oh.
This isn't the character from the videos.
Is he infringing on someone's copyright?
You might think that he could be in trouble on several grounds. An atheist mother in Tennessee says she's been getting threats on social media after her complaint led to the cancellation of school visits by a preacher nicknamed Bible Man.
So she's been getting threats?
Horace Turner.
That doesn't sound very Christian.
Horace Turner,
Doesn't.
a.k.a. Bible Man, but not the Bible Man, because that was Willie Ames from 8 is Enough.
That is true.
He was the first Bible Man.
My kids love that.
Wasn't it like there's been multiple Batmans?
Yes, and then he
Robins
retired. He hung up his tights and his Bible tights, and then his Tennessee cave salamander, and they got a new one. And I forget who the new one was, but he was also someone who was known. It may have been a different 8 is Enough.
Kirk Cameron.
No, it was never Kirk Cameron. Kirk Cameron, I will go to my grave maintaining Kirk Cameron was never Bible Man.
Okay.
Although he is a Bible Man.
But has he been seen in the same room with Bible Man?
Probably.
Very likely.
Okay, then
I've been seen in the same room with Bible
Well, then we
Man.
know you're not Bible Man.
You're right. Great Scott. Horace Turner, a.k.a. Bible Man, has been visiting the Colmont Elementary School in Altamont, Tennessee for years.
Years.
And when we say years, we mean more than 1 year. Where he would have baby Jesus displays. I love a good baby Jesus display in a public school. Is it like the stages of growth of a baby?
I remember being at a friend's house at Christmas time, and he had young kids. Our kids were young, and they had a little nativity scene out by the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And one of the little girls just kept kind of knocking baby Jesus statue around, like playing. And her older sister came over and said, "Honey, you can't. That's that's Jesus. You can't do that." And this little 4-year-old looks at her sister like, "Wait a minute. That's Jesus?" The whole thing we do at church all the time is about that. Like she thought that was literally Jesus, and that whole thing is crazy.
Wow.
So you got to be careful how you communicate these
And
things
now
to
she's
kids.
an atheist.
May well be. I don't know.
Where he would have baby Jesus displays, sermons proclaiming that Jesus died on the cross for our sins, Bible readings, discussions about the meaning of Bible stories, and distributions of religious literature.
And this is a public school.
This is a public school.
But this was happening for years.
For years. For more than 1 year.
Okay.
The district has now put the Bible Man...
Wait, let me just ask.
Yeah.
I wonder, under what heading does this fall? Is it history? Is it, English?
It's
Is
a
it
school event.
Yeah, well, we had all kinds of crazy events at our school that had no educational value whatsoever.
School
like
event.
the Jesse White
We had the
tumblers.
power men, or the power team. Do you remember the power team?
Yeah, I remember the
power team.
Yeah, they came to my
Do you
church in
remember the power
Muscatine,
team?
Iowa.
No.
Big muscular Christians
they are.
that busted stuff.
Yeah, they did. They were really cool. Boys loved them.
They bent iron bars,
Yeah.
and the finale was inflating. Did he inflate the hot water bottle? Inflating a hot water bottle just with your lungs until it burst.
Right.
And blew out your eyeballs.
And that's how you get
But they would
floppy eye
syndrome. Exactly.
they would show how strong they were, and then they
and then
would
Jesus.
and then they would stick Jesus on the end.
At the public school.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think.
Yeah, in Mississippi.
In Mississippi, yeah. In Iowa, no. We were too progressive.
Clearly.
They came to our church.
We had that guy every year in elementary school who would
Bible man?
No, who would come in the skin tight leotard that showed his internal organs.
What?
That always
you're
creeped me out.
freaking me out.
That always creeped me out.
that would really
And I
creep
came
me
from a very medical family, and I didn't get creeped out easily,
Wow.
but that creeped me out.
Wow.
Okay, so read on.
Okay, but so it's been put on hold. No more Bible Man sessions for now.
Understandable.
Complaint filed by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. This has apparently angered some parents. And the mother who initiated the complaint told the station she has been getting threats on Facebook as a result. One included the words, "He was an outsider and against the Bible Man coming to our schools, so we threw him a housewarming party," along with a picture of a burning house.
What?
The mother says, "We just can't get over how much hate there is in their loving Christian hearts." So that's just fun on several levels.
That breaks my heart.
Yeah, anyway, so
It
Tennessee, try to keep it together, okay? We're worried about you. Just
If that's what Christianity was, I'd be an atheist too.
stick with your Tennessee cave salamander. Keep that in the State House. That's good. Don't go crazy on the...
Bring in an Elvis impersonator.
To do what?
I'm saying that's more like a cultural icon of Tennessee.
Oh, of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Well, part of
True.
Tennessee.
Part of Tennessee.
In Nashville, they don't. There's no
and that
affinity
Elvis
for Elvis
could
in
probably
Nashville.
sing. I bet you that Elvis could sing hymns.
Yeah.
Nashville,
could
in
get it in that
Pigeon
way.
Forge, it's Dolly. It'd be Dolly
Yeah.
Parton.
Okay.
In Nashville, it's everyone else. You know, it's Nicole Kidman.
What?
She lives there. You see her.
Does she really?
Yeah, she lives there.
She's with Keith Urban.
With Keith Urban.
Oh,
They
I
live
forgot.
there together. I've bumped into him in Starbucks. And in then Memphis, it's Elvis.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Gay marriage, religious liberty.
I read a great article about
I
this
did
this week.
too. There was a blog post
Yeah.
that rocked
You got
my
the same
world.
one?
I got the same one.
Oh, it was something
Who
like
it was,
three ideas.
Yeah,
Something
okay.
about.
3 ideas to shift the gay marriage religious liberty debate. It was written by a
Did
guy.
Bill write that?
No, he's kind of a rising star. He's on the move. He's on the what was his name? Something about the air
Oh yeah, and clouds.
and clouds.
And blue is jumping
hey,
to my
I've got
mind.
it here.
What?
Oh, Sky Jetani?
Jet Hanny?
Jet Hanny.
Jet Hanny.
Jet.
I changed the title of the piece on my blog.
Oh,
That's what went out in the newsletter.
It's not 3 ideas to shift the gay marriage religious liberty debate?
No, now it's called Ending the Food Fight Between Gay Marriage and Religious Liberty.
Oh, that's good
why'd
too.
you have to go meths with
But
perfection?
whenever you put a number in something, it sells.
I just want it to be counterintuitive.
You didn't want it to sell because then that seems like because it's not cool to want things to sell.
Well, it's also free.
yeah.
So it
is
doesn't much
it's
matter.
on his
No, but-
website.
okay.
And to be fair, this is like a couple weeks too late. I actually had given the article to a couple places to publish it, and everyone was like, "Great article, but
You're
We're
too
not
late.
touching that with a 10 foot.
you missed that by a couple weeks, buddy."
Oh, fine. But Kristen and I thought you made some very good
I did.
points.
I thought.
In fact,
I
three
thought
of
it was a
them.
very, very
Thought you made 3.
reasoned.
All right. If you want to read it, guys, you can get it on my
And we have been
website.
talking about this a fair amount.
Yeah.
So we're
Why,
gonna, we're
why
gonna
don't
talk
you just
about
like
it.
touch on it?
Here's your 3 main points. Here's his 3 main points from this Sky Jet Han Solo-y. Did you see the new Star Wars trailer?
I
Oh, yeah.
did.
That was,
Pretty awesome.
It was not a productive day for me.
that was pretty great. How many times did you watch it?
I don't even
before
know.
you stopped?
You know what the truth is? I finished writing this article that same day
Yeah.
and sent out the newsletter, and then the rest of the day was pretty much wasted watching the Star Wars trailer.
So I guess you two could review that.
Yes, we could.
Idea number 1: Christians should never advocate discrimination against their LGBT neighbors. But what if they deserve it?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, seriously. What do I mean by that?
Yeah.
I
How can you say that?
Don't we have to occasionally discriminate to show how much we value people doing things the Bible's way?
Well, no. What I mean by discrimination, of course, is not discerning right and wrong. It's
Okay.
about denying people public accommodation. Meaning, you can't eat here, you can't.
Right.
I'm not going to
Check-
let you eat here.
Right, or you can't have a room here, or those kinds of things, which we have decided decades ago is not how a flourishing civil society should operate. So,
Okay.
I think it's just simply the call to love our neighbor and love our enemies, or those we may disagree with, means that we should desire all people be treated fairly and with dignity in the public square.
Even if we don't agree with them.
Even if we don't agree with them, especially if we don't agree with them, because our value for that person is not rooted in whether or not we agree, but in the fact that we believe all people are created in the image of God
Yeah.
and deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, even if I disagree with them. So, and we have to remember that if we want to advocate that some people should not be allowed access to the public square because of their beliefs or whatever, then sooner or later that's going to get turned around upon Christians.
That's what my husband, the lawyer, always says.
I'm not as much worried about access to the public square as access to the Applebee's. Because this is more about private.
That's what I mean is public
business.
public space, right?
Okay.
To say we won't serve your kind here.
Right.
No droids in this,
Right.
kind of your kind. Then it's not the way to have a loving Christian flourishing society.
Just remember, these aren't the droids you're looking for. Number 2, no one should be forced by the government to participate in rituals that violate their conscience. That's
Right.
a bigger statement to make. I
Yeah.
mean, I can get on board with Christians shouldn't discriminate. That makes sense.
Yeah.
How do you define rituals? What's a ritual
Well, obviously we're talking about the context of a marriage ceremony
specifically?
specifically, but I think it go beyond that. I think I give the hypothetical.
What about funerals?
Yeah. Well, I think if there is
I don't agree with death. I'm anti-death.
The government has already made accommodation for people because of their religious convictions or even non-religious convictions to be a conscientious objector so they
Right.
don't have to be drafted into war, right?
Right.
We allow them,
If you're a Quaker.
Right.
You don't have to
So
go to war.
the government accommodates people to their beliefs so that they don't have to violate their conscience.
Okay.
Similarly, I don't think the government should force anybody, forget Christians and gay marriage, they shouldn't force anybody to participate in a ritual that would violate their conscience.
So, but then the trick is defining participation.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the hard part.
What is participation? If I rent you chairs for your KKK rally, am I participating in the rally?
And this is what the courts have yet to bring clarity to. So in Colorado, for example, the cake baker guy last year, 2 years ago, whatever
and
it
the
was.
candlestick maker.
Right. The courts ruled that baking a cake is not.
As fast as you can.
They ruled that baking a cake is not participating in a ceremony.
Baking a cake. What about decorating a cake?
Well, that kind of.
What about serving cake?
So I don't know what the line is either, and it was really disappointing when the Supreme Court chose not to hear the case of the wedding photographer in New Mexico, because that's a whole different animal. Because to photograph a wedding, you actually have to be there.
You have to put on a suit. You have to dress up.
Right, and you are a participant in some way or another. So I think that is
you have
very
to say
different.
Uncle Lou a little to the left.
Yeah, it's one thing for.
Or if you're hired to be a pianist or a singer.
Right.
Or,
So, should the example I gave is, should a Muslim florist be forced to arrange flowers around a Hindu idol at a Hindu wedding, which would violate Islam's prohibition against idolatry because the government says you have to? I think that's going too far. Similarly, to force a Christian to perform music, say, at a same-sex wedding ceremony is going too far. That's participation. But we don't know the answer to that yet because the court hasn't taken up all those cases to decide what is the line for
and
participation.
when we talked to my brother a couple of weeks ago, we kind of talked about that.
Yeah.
And will the legislative process be capable of, or the judiciary be capable of really discerning that line? And he said, not very likely.
Which is disappointing. But I think that's where we, all
Should
sides,
lobby.
we should to a degree, and be thoughtful in recognizing there's a difference between someone coming into a store and saying, can I rent those 30 chairs for my gay wedding, and somebody actually being asked to perform at a gay wedding. There's a
If I'm
difference
lobbying
there.
for your view of participation in rituals, is it okay if I refuse to serve cake to people who disagree with that view?
What?
Okay, well, since he
Number
doesn't.
3.
No, wait. I have a question.
Yeah.
Bill got it.
I didn't.
Well, that would be it would be a form of lobbying. I'm protesting.
Right.
So I'm not going to serve you cake.
Oh, got it.
You don't get cake.
Well, and
No cake for you.
And there are some Christians who are saying this whole issue of LGBT rights and religious liberty demands civil disobedience. And if Christians don't want to go that route, they certainly can. But then you also have to take the consequences for that breaking of the law.
But can I take this one step further?
I don't know.
Yeah, you may cut this out of the podcast. But what if I am a photographer and I am an outspoken Christian, and a gay couple comes to me and asks me to photograph their wedding, and it is against what I believe, and it does make me feel uncomfortable, but I decide that the loving thing would be to do their wedding anyway.
I think that's fine. I think that the difference is that's your free choice. It's different when the government says you have to, or you're going to be fined for not doing it.
But on a bigger level, do you think I should be thinking that way? Do you think I should? It's better for me as a follower of Christ to hold that line. So here's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think that's...
Should she? What should she do?
No, I'm
think
just saying
that-
what as a follower of Christ, when I'm trying to discern what is wise, is it a wise thing to be loving and compassionate where it's difficult and uncomfortable for me and giving? Or is it wiser to hold my line and say, I stand my ground here? And
Well, I think you have to take that on a case-by-case basis, and I think it's a matter of personal conscience. You know, if you discern that the right thing in this situation is to serve this couple by photographing their wedding, by all means do that. But if your conscience would be violated in some way, as Paul talks about in First Corinthians, then you shouldn't. And I can't prescribe that it's always right to do this or it's always wrong to do that. But one thing I think
why? That's what we want.
So much easier if you could.
Why do we even have leaders if they don't tell us what to do?
See, this is the problem.
This is why you'll never have a big church.
I know, because I'm just not autocratic enough.
Prescriptive enough.
So, but I do think we can agree on the government shouldn't be forcing anyone.
I agree.
They shouldn't take that decision out of the conscience of the individual.
And what I like about the way that you talk in this article is you kind of really are holding all sides accountable. You know, there is
Number
what's the
three.
third?
Number three.
Which I think is the most interesting point.
Is the most interesting, which is why we've left almost no time to talk about it.
Right.
Americans,
read the article.
Americans may be divided about religious liberty, but we can find common ground about free speech. So you're proposing, as some people have, to recast the conversation more about free speech.
Right, but there are incentives on both sides not to do that, which is the problem.
Because if it's free speech, then you say, should I have to write this on a cake?
Right.
Should I be forced to write this or say this or sing this? Or
Going back to the Colorado cake maker case, what the court ruled there was that the baker could discriminate when it comes to what cake he makes. Like if someone comes into his bakery and says, we want you to make a rainbow cake that says hooray for gay marriage with 2 male little figurines on the top, he has every right to say, no, I don't make that kind of cake. That's a freedom of expression issue.
I don't have enough colors of frosting.
But what he cannot do is deny selling a cake to a same-sex couple that he has or would sell to an opposite-sex couple.
Right.
Because that's discriminating on the basis of the identity of the customer, not the freedom of expression issue, the product.
Right.
So where that gets different, though, is when you're talking about other forms of participation in a same-sex wedding. So singing a song, photographing it, those are all artistic endeavors. They're free speech issues. And the government shouldn't force, for example, a photographer to make art, photography in this case, that she doesn't want to make.
What if they're a really bad photographer and it really can't be classified as art?
Well, it doesn't have to be.
That's
it's still
a whole
expression.
other discussion, Phil.
It's still expression. It's kind of like your ukulele playing.
Oh, well.
Before we wrap up,
Yes.
can I ask our listeners a question? A favor, if you will.
I guess so.
You guys are always, hawking your websites
hawking
and stuff.
our wares.
Yeah, hawking your wares. I'd like to
Buy
hawk
my
mine.
new ukulele album.
So it just dawned on me that I do have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Meet Christian Taylor. I also have
Meet, M-E-A-T?
No.
Oh, okay.
M-E-E-T, like nice to meet you.
Okay.
I also have a Twitter feed, which is Christians Voice. Some of you listeners already follow me there, and I love that. And then I have a YouTube channel too. And so,
Why do you have a YouTube channel?
Because I put my work there.
Oh.
And basically, I'm sort of getting the word out that I'm a pretty reasonably, rated voiceover talent or actress.
Okay.
And so if your business is looking for that,
if you
I'm your
want
girl.
a Christian voiceover performer for, say, your same-sex marriage ceremony,
I would consider
Christian's your girl.
And you need to support Christian's floppy eye
Floppy,
surgery.
yes, my floppy eye syndrome surgery. Oh, and I have to have knee surgery too. I'm a mess.
Why? You
I
just
think
got
I've
done with your
reached
back
I've reached
surgery.
200,000 miles
Right,
apparently, and
right.
everything needs to be,
Oh,
I just need a
How
new
are your
model.
CV joints?
I don't probably falling apart
They
tomorrow.
went on my Passat. Okay, what should I sing about?
Good luck. Don't start with
about
floppy
Tennessee?
eye syndrome.
Tennessee.
Oh, hey, baby, don't you want to be with my friends in Tennessee, where you may bake a cake for a gay, but you can't have Bible men come anyway and talk to your school about Jesus displays, even though we don't know what that is. It seems like it shouldn't be at school, at a public school anyway, but thanks for listening to the show, and I hope you have somewhere to go where you can have some cake with a friend who might be gay and show them the love of Christ today. And thanks to Sky and Christian Periwinkle. But now I have to take home my dog because he's got a tinkle. Bye. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.